Now let's look at it from Octalysis side. And before I go into analysis, I just want to quickly run Octalysis, really quickly, because I know maybe some people may not have heard of Octalysis or don't know the basics. Just quickly, right? Just 2 minutes, don't worry. Octalysis intelligence framework invented by Yu-Kai Chao. And what he did is started to look at successful games, because there's a lot of crappy games that don't make money, not successful in the market, and see what elements can we think of that make these games so successful, and how are they interrelated. And he came up with a system called the Octalysis framework, which is a combination between an octagon and analysis, really clever. And basically, there's 8 core drives that are responsible for human motivation. So for any of these motivations to exist, one of these core drives need to be present. And if none of these core drives are there, then there's no motivation and no behavior happens, right? And the core drives range from epic meaning and calling on the top, feeling really special by forming part of something that is bigger than yourself. We talked about collective journeys, going to church, being part of a revolution, etc. To scarcity, being motivated by coupons, discounts, countdown timers, etc., etc. I'm not going to go into all of them. You have time to do that later after my speech if you want to. Right. But I do want to show you there's a segmentation that we can bring in. Now, we call it left brain and right brain. There's no such thing as left brain, and there's no such thing as right brain. However, it's a nice classification of the left side of the octagon and the right side of the octagon. And the left side of the octagon, the motivators there are mainly extrinsic. So mainly short-term motivators, where you are motivated because you expect a reward for your behavior. Yeah, or for interacting with the design. Versus the right brain, which is more intrinsic, at least has a tendency to be more intrinsic. And these are things that we feel good about doing, right? And we even do them without having a reward for them. Right? You don't have to pay me to join a social club. I'm even willing to pay you to join that social club. I'm willing to mindlessly push a button in a casino just for the chance that I get win maybe 25 cents or maybe $1. Right? And you don't have to pay me or to become creative. That's what I want to do by myself. This is also where all the fun is. Yeah? It's never on the left brain side. That's all about efficiency, getting people to do things, scooping dirt and things like that. This is where all the fun comes in. All right, the second division we make is the top and the bottom. On the top is what we call white hat motivation. These are the motivators that make you feel good, like going to church, like drawing, for example, but there's often no urgency, right? These are things you'd like to do, but there's other things you have to do. So once you feel that there's other things you have to do, you often drop it. So I want to create a revolution, but first I have to do my taxes, right? For example. So black hat motivation is creating a lot of urgency, right? These are things that you have to do now, but if there's a lot of that motivation around, then you feel no control and you want to exit the experience. So it's our job to balance all of these core drives so that you have a balanced motivation and it's not leaning extrinsic, not to intrinsic, not to white hat, not to black hat, depending on the time of the experience. Okay, this is the Octalysis analysis, and that's why I came to this slide. This is how a Procter & Gamble team looks like, right? It's all about efficiency, it's all about rewards, it's all about scarcity, doing your KPIs now, feeling the wrath if you don't meet your targets, being afraid of the boss, all these things, all sales teams. Right? Almost no intrinsic and white hat. Almost no long-term motivators. So it was no wonder that these people are kind of burned out. Wait, sorry. Oh, poor. There's no fun in sales. Really sad. Okay. So Procter & Gamble says, Octalysis, please do something about it. We're not even sure whether you can do it. We can't do it anymore. How do we change this? Because this team has been going on for 20 years. How can we change it, right? So, okay, let's see what we could do. And for that, we have to come from analysis to implementation.